Hey guys, this is going to be my review of the Electro Swarm by Eliminator Lighting. I think this is probably one of the greatest standalone dance lights that you could get for the price range of $100 to $120. I'll say right now that the effect is incredible, although I do have some questions about the durability of the product, but I'll get into that later. Here's the box that it comes in. Pretty standard dance box. Usually comes in a slightly larger box when it's being shipped to you. The box itself is pretty simple. There's not much to it. I opened it from the bottom when I got mine. It's just two large pieces of styrofoam that protect the light from any damage. And then the light is wrapped in this piece of plastic. Then there's an instruction manual and pamphlet and a few extra fuses as well. Okay, here's the light itself. It kind of has a mushroom head shape to it. By my count, it has 37 lenses on the front, which creates dozens and dozens of beams throughout the room. Alright, here's a view of the lenses up close. I can't quite tell for sure, but I'm pretty sure that the lenses themselves are made out of plastic, which it doesn't really matter. It still creates a great effect. I don't know if glass would really improve that much. The bezels around the side, those are made out of plastic. However, the outer case of the whole light is metal. This part right here is definitely metal. I don't want to void my warranty by opening up the light to actually see how it works inside, but I can kind of tell through the lenses. That's one of the LED lights right there. And supposedly there's only 6 LEDs inside of this light, and it creates a ton of beams, so I'm sure there's some mirrors and other things that are moving around to create the effect. Okay, moving around to the other part of the light, see there's this grate right here, which I don't really see the need for that. The LEDs do not get hot at all, even after the light's been on for hours, so I don't see why those are needed. I suppose it looks kind of cool. Then there's another grate on the back. Here's a little specs sticker on it. Made in China, unfortunately, but that's what you get for the money, I guess. It has a quality control pass sticker on it, so I assume that the quality control is high enough that they don't let too many melons slip by their hands. And on the back we can see all of the switches and inputs. The power cord that it comes with is about 5 feet or so in length. I guess I didn't really measure it myself, but it's just a standard plug that you'll be using for the rest of your rig. And that goes in right there, like so. Unfortunately, there's no on-off switch. I kind of wish there was. That way you could just keep it plugged in all the time, and then when you want to turn it on, just flip the switch. So what you have to do is keep it unplugged when it's in storage. This light is not DMX controlled, so you can't hook it up to a controller and manipulate the effects as you please. It's just got one sort of mode, and that's sound active mode. It also would have been nice if they would have included just an automatic mode that you didn't need sound. But for the most part, you're going to only be using it when you're playing music anyway, so I think it does fine. Now, even though it doesn't have DMX control, it does have these input and output with XLR cables that if you wanted to, you could actually hook up multiple Electro Swarms together. There we go. And then one unit would be the master and one unit would be the slave, or however many units you have plugged in. And the master unit would be the one that everybody else is following. So they'd all be synced up, which would be pretty cool. I wish I had another one, but I don't. So I can't test out the master-slave function. There are these 2 dip switches just to indicate which units are master and which are slave. If it's just a single unit, it doesn't really matter. I think I've got it set to slave right now, but if you plug it in individually, it'll still work fine. To switch it to master, you just flip those guys down or up. It doesn't really matter. I'm sure you can read, but this right here is the microphone, and down here is the sensitivity of the microphone. I usually have it turned all the way up, but it doesn't. I guess you can tweak it to the sensitivity of the microphone, depending on how loud your music is. If it's super sensitive, then it won't really follow the beat that well, but it'll be going all the time, which works out just fine for me. But if you tweak the sensitivity, then it'll only change pattern every time there's bass in the song, which I've had some luck trying to tweak that just right so it works. But for the most part, I think you'll just want the light moving constantly the entire night. Alright, moving to the brackets on the side. I think they did a good job with these brackets. It's an all-metal construction, and these knobs are pretty heavy-duty. They're plastic, but you're not going to break them. You just cinch it down as tight as you can, and it's really not going to move anywhere. So once you have this installed, either screwed in or clamped onto your lighting rig, it's not going to go anywhere if you tighten these knobs tight enough. What's nice is the bracket can actually rotate all the way around, so you can have it on either side. I guess it doesn't really matter, but depending on if you wanted to have it setting up on the ground or actually suspended. Taking the bracket off is simple enough. All you have to do is just unscrew the knob enough until it comes off. The reason you'd want to do this is if you're going to permanently install the light, let's say on the ceiling of your club or something, then you'd have to take the bracket off to actually screw it in. Not a big deal. Just make sure you don't lose this special washer. When you first plug the light in, it does make some noise when it's starting up. It sounds like the gears are setting their places or whatever, and it's a little bit noisy, but that's just to be expected. It happens every time you turn it on. Then after that, it runs pretty smoothly and quite quietly, actually. So even if your music is quiet, which it shouldn't be, but if it is, you're not going to hear the light moving around too much, which is great. I'm going to plug it in for you right now so you can hear what it sounds like when it turns on. And then now it is in sound active mode, so it's only going to switch pattern when I stomp the floor. I'm just tapping my foot on the floor, and just that little bit of a tap is enough bass to switch the modes. Alright, although you can see the effect in the daytime, it really does not do it justice until night. So right now I'm going to show you some footage of the Electro Swarm at night, and maybe with some fog too. Alright, here's the Electro Swarm at night without any fog. Try to get a better perspective. Alright, here's my living room. As you can see, it's filling up the entire room. Okay, now we're going to introduce some fog with the Chauvet Hurricane 1100. Alright, I'll be back when it fully disperses. Alright, here's the Electro Swarm after 2 full blasts from my fog machine. It's pretty thick fog in here right now. So, get up and maybe walk around a little bit. I think the light speaks for itself. I don't have to say much. It's pretty amazing. Alright, I figured I'd show you guys the sound sensitivity also. As you can see, the light is pretty cool by itself without fog, but also if you have fog, it just makes the effect that much better. So I highly recommend getting a fog machine, because of just the amount of beams that are coming out of here with all the different beams of light. The fog really makes quite a stunning effect. If there's no sound for about 10 seconds or so, then the light will just shut off. But it's not going to be permanently shut off. It only turns off until it hears sound again. See, now it's turned off. Not really. See, then it'll come back on once it hears a loud enough noise. So, needless to say, I think the effect of the Electro Swarm is just incredible. I give it a 10 out of 10 just for a wow factor and what people think of the light. It really does a great effect for DJing, and really I think it's probably the only light you need if you've got a smaller setup, because it has such a wide coverage area that you don't need much else. Okay, I just unplugged it for the rest of this video. Now, although the effect and the value of this light are outstanding, I do have some questions about the quality of the light. Now, it is manufactured in China, and a lot of dance lights are. However, I'm just not sure that it's the greatest, it's the most durable light out there. I'm sure if the light is plugged in and it's in a stationary position and nobody ever touches it, I'm sure that it would just be fine to run for days and days. I think I remember hearing a story that it ran for 60 days continuously in a room that was 120 degrees. And I don't know, I believe that, because when it's just running by itself, it doesn't seem to have any problems. However, it seems like quite a fragile device. This is actually the third Electro Swarm from Eliminator Lighting that I've received. The first one that I got lasted about a month, and the effect was great, it worked flawlessly. However, I was transporting it, and I thought I was transporting it quite gently. However, when I got to the next location, I tried plugging it in. It made very loud grinding noises, and the motion was very limited. It seemed very sluggish. The LEDs worked fine, but just the gears inside, they were messed up beyond repair, and I didn't want to crack it open to try to fix it myself. So I sent it back to Eliminator, and they helped me out right away. I just gave them a call. They're located in California. I said, hey, I've got a problem with my light. I don't know what happened to it, but it just stopped functioning correctly. They said that they'd take care of it. They just gave me a number to write on the box, and I actually had to pay for shipping to ship it back to them. And it was $15 to ship it back. But I said, alright, it's a great light, and it's better than having a broken light, so I'll pay for that. And I got back a new light relatively quickly, within like less than 2 weeks or so. And the light that I received from them, it might have been the first original light, and they tried to fix it, but it was broken. But when I received it in the mail, it had pretty much the same problem. It was slightly better, but after I had it plugged in for about a half hour, it was right back to where it was. It made super loud grinding noises. The range of motion was very limited, and it was just a very disappointing experience. So I called up Eliminator again and told them about my problem, and they were really deeply sorry that they sent me a broken product. So he said, you know what, I trust to your story, so I'm just going to send one out right now, even without receiving the broken one. So he sent me a brand new Electro Swarm, and without even having the broken one in hand, and just trusted that I'd send it back. And then they also sent me a free shipping label to ship back the old one. So the new one came in the mail, and I was admittedly dragging my feet and sending out the old one. And at one point I actually had 2 Electro Swarms, one broken and one fixed. And I sent it out eventually, and everything worked out great. And this is my 3rd iteration of the Electro Swarm. But it's a good thing they've got that year warranty, and their customer service is actually outstanding. I'm sure that I might have just gotten a lemon for the first one, or just some weird thing. But just on the safe side, I would be very careful when transporting these lights. So despite that fact, if you're careful with your lights and you're not going to damage them too much or bang them around, I think that the Electro Swarm is definitely one to get. As long as you're careful with it, it'll provide an absolutely incredible effect for your dance floor. And it's fun just to have on and listen to music. Okay, so I think I covered about everything that I can think of. If you have any questions, leave them below. Otherwise, I hope this was helpful to somebody. Have a nice day.